Hey, what's up, team? Today we're looking at Sam Harris's new book, Making Sense. Straight up, if you consider yourself a big picture thinker, if you like contemplating the big questions in life, if you want to maximize your brain capacity and gain access to knowledge that mere mortals will be unable to comprehend, and as a result improve your reasoning skills and additionally place yourself in a position to be resistant to the never-ceasing flow of sensationalism and stupidity that surfaces daily on social and mainstream media, you'll probably want to read this damn book.
Taxi!
Okay, now the name of the book is not to be confused with his podcast, which goes by the same name, but they are related. So this book is a culmination of all of his favourite interviews over the years on his podcast. For those of you who don't know, Sam Harris is a neuroscientist and obviously an author. He's quite frankly a brilliant thinker and conversationalist, regardless of whether or not you agree with him on every matter. He also looks like Ben Stiller. This book, Making Sense, and the conversations within it cover topics such as life, racism, artificial intelligence, the scope of human intelligence, the brain, consciousness, and heaps of other ridiculously interesting topics. The book's written out as a kind of transcript of these conversations, and Sam notes early that the conversations have been slightly modified just to help ensure that his guests' points have been clarified. Now, I like this book for a lot of reasons, but perhaps the single biggest reason was to see Sam interacting with people of his intellectual caliber. If you only know Sam Harris as the guy on YouTube that destroys religion, it's unlikely that you've ever seen him in a position where he's not one of, if not the smartest person in the room. When I listen or read content from Sam Harris, I do my best to think critically about what he's saying. But sometimes I feel as if I'm just actually not capable to do that. I feel like he just knows too much about the topic. And because of this, regardless of the fact that his opinions seem sensible, realistic, and are scientifically sound, I'm simply not on his level to come up with a counter-argument, even if I tried. Sam's guests, however, while they may vary in their academic backgrounds, are all experts in their particular field. And to be perfectly honest, it's fascinating to see Sam interact with people who in some instances know more than he does, especially when there's disagreements. Which is another reason why I love this book. It demonstrates the way two opposing views can integrate and have effective dialogue without condemning the other and thinking that their opinion makes them stupid. Unlike the discussions we see on social and mainstream media, the goal here isn't to demonstrate how morally superior you are. And it's not about winning. It's about learning and advancing knowledge. No one's comparing moral sizes. It's more like everyone's just kind of flopping it out and acknowledging everyone's attempt for what it is. And by the way, I'm not necessarily just talking about sensitive topics like racism. I really do just mean across the board in general. Disagreeing with someone whilst trying to propose your own point of view in a respectful way without drawing conclusions about that person's moral or intellectual capacities is a skill. And in my opinion, in this book and in Sam Harris's podcast, they do a fantastic job of demonstrating this skill at the highest level. It's kind of like the Champions League of discussion. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, if this is a podcast, why read it? Wouldn't you just want to listen and save yourself some time? Well, from someone who's done both, I feel like I'm in a good position to answer that. Firstly. Secondly, I feel like reading allows me to focus so much more on the content than listening. Now, this could have some scientific, neurological/biological basis, but I think the short answer is when I'm listening to podcasts, very often I'm multitasking. I'm either running or cooking or driving, and the truth is my attention is never on the content 100%. When dealing with discussions this full on, I find it a lot easier to absorb the information if I'm sitting down reading it. And if I lose concentration, I can always backtrack a few lines and reread the page, which is a lot harder to do when you're cruising on the freeway listening to a podcast. If you want to be a fly on the wall for some brilliant, thought-provoking conversations, this is a fantastic book. Of course, there is also the podcast, which I will link in the description. Lastly, I just want to say that this is not a sponsored video because I don't have that many subscribers and Sam Harris has never heard of me, but I do want to plug Sam Harris's meditation app called Waking Up, which in my opinion is the best meditation app on the market, without a doubt. I know that currently a lot of people are going through tough times, and if you want to learn to connect better with yourself, with others, or if you seriously just want to explore the contents of your own mind, this is a fantastic app to help you do just that. I couldn't recommend it more. Stay safe and happy, guys. I'll see you next week.
Devils be savages, slim than chance with the averages. Sitting on the low like you added slick. Darkness make you disappear like a magic trick. Put up to the table, come down and sit. These devils try to tie you the crown with it. Now you surrounded by counterfeits, trying to